Wheels up, everyone. Good to see you. It's Gareth Wheeler, at Gareth Wheeler. This is another installment of Touchline Talk right here with Toronto FC across the Toronto FC social channels. A really good edition, the first one out of the gate here in 2022 with team president Bill Manning. Now our first player today, so step right up. I'm not sure what kind of bet you lost to be stuck with me for the next 20 minutes, but Jayden Nelson of Toronto FC joining me here on the show this week. What's up, Jayden? How are you?
Nothing much. Thanks for having me.
I was thinking back the last time you and I sat down and had a chat, it had to be around the U17 World Cup. Wasn't it around that time?
Yes, it was. It was you and Terry. I remember.
A lot has changed, man. We've gone through COVID. You've stepped up to play in the first team. It doesn't seem like, or it actually wasn't that long ago, but it seems like it was just ages ago.
Yeah.
How's life treating you, man?
Everything's good. Just taking one step at a time. Obviously, COVID, being away from home, and coming back and like going through different managers and stuff like that. There's been changes. And me being able to adapt to all of that and the team, it's just been something new and something that I took with me. And I think it built me as a person as well. So everything's good. So.
Yeah, I'm guessing you grew up pretty quickly. It's a big jump from the academy to the first team, but doing it under the circumstances which you have, with COVID, playing away from home, being away from family and friends, just how difficult has that change been for you?
Well, I knew growing up being a pro, there's going to be sacrifices. So being away from home, family, friends, it's something that I knew it would come. So I don't think that aspect really took a toll on me, like as big as I'll say other guys or whatever. But I think the whole situation with like no fans and like little things like that, etc. So I think that played a bigger role in those changes. But I just knew sacrifices would come and I would have to take them head on.
Yeah, I mean, there's no playbook on how to do this properly. Has there been an individual or individuals that have kind of like helped you out along the way to make this transition a little bit more seamless?
I would say it's a collective thing, like the whole entire team. I wouldn't say like a specific person or anything, but I'll say the whole team, like we're a family, right? So it's all of them basically brought me in the open arms and helped me step by step to become a better player and a better person.
Oh, we're going to deal with your career thus far, where things have been, where you're going. First off, it's great to see you get off to a really strong start this season. I believe you're 19 years of age now, still a very young man, but I guess familiarity breeds success, right? Like the more you play, the more comfortable that you'll be. What do you make of your start to the season and maybe the process that you went through over the offseason, taking your learnings and understandings from last season and kind of using them to set you in the right direction heading into 2022?
Yeah. I'll say last season was last season. But I took a lot from it. I didn't get to play as much I would like, but this season and in the offseason, I got to play overseas in Belgium. So I took a lot of things from that and I tried to bring it into the preseason, which with a new manager, new coaching staff, new teammates, and just try to tackle it head on and try to do my best. Yes, I've started to play the first two games. So it's been good so far. I've been learning, and Bob's been really good with me, and especially like the young guys, he's been really hands-on with me and able to do like little video sessions or whatever little tweaks that I need as a player. So he's been helping me a lot, and the guy's been encouraging all of us to do better and the little things that to help us, make that next step into the first team. So it's a journey so far, and it's great.
I know it's not fun in the time when the team's going through a difficult spell and you're not getting the minutes that you want, but you kind of feel like, it kind of toughens you up, and going through those difficult moments kind of maybe drives you forward, makes you a little bit more hungry, or gives you some perspective on when things are going well, just to keep your head down and keep after it.
For sure, for sure. Even that, like, I'll say COVID, like those type of things like help you, like I'll say like build a callus, like that, like nothing can really like affect you later on. Like nothing's gonna be worse than like what we've been through, So something like that happens, I feel like it helps us in the future because we'll know how to prepare and how to go about it. So it's a blessing and a curse.
You mentioned you went to Belgium in the offseason. I believe you were with Anderlecht, correct?
Yeah.
What'd you learn? What do you take from an experience like that?
I say the most what I took from it was seeing guys my age and what they're capable of in Europe, and seeing what I'm capable of, and seeing like the levels of play and what I can actually do. I think it gave me more confidence to actually come back to Toronto and just try to push more, So going out there was a great experience. I think it helped me a lot. I took a lot of little things like mentality off the pitch stuff that I seen big players do. So it took me a while to understand like this is what actually takes to, become a good professional. So those little things I seen in Belgium helped me a lot.
It's funny, like it always comes back to Brampton. Another Bramptonian, Tejan Buchanan is now in Belgium. I mean, he's a few years older than you, right? Like 3 or 4 years older than you. But is that the trajectory that you foresee kind of your career taking if you do all the right things? That's an experience. Going abroad is something that may be, something that you look forward to down the road.
Yeah, it's great to see someone that's from your city, get to the big stage. And
there's lots of them from Brampton, by the way.
I know. like growing up, I used to play against Tejan and stuff like that. So it's always like nice to see like a guy like that be able to chase his dream and become something bigger than just Brampton. So it's great to see. But yes, I could see myself taking those pathways. It's always my dream to play in Europe. So to see Chazon do that, it gives me more confidence that I could do as well. So it's just great to see.
So as a young player, and I've noticed some subtle changes in your game here over the early stages, but there's the mental side of the game. There's a physical side for young players where I still think that young players need to grow into their body physically to play in a strong, fast league like Major League Soccer. Where do you think that gap is closed for you over the course of this offseason? Do you feel like you've become a little bit more bigger, stronger, faster, or is it the mental side of the game where things have started to maybe slow down a little bit for you on the field?
I would say both. I think I struggled with that, with the mental side, but honestly, I feel like things are starting to slow down, and I think that comes with just playing. But the physical side, I've been in the gym, so. So I've been working out and stuff like that. So that's helping me as well. So yeah, I've been trying to do those stuff over the off season to prepare myself for this season.
Those watching here on YouTube, that's what he's wearing the tank right now. I mean, I was going to Jayden, but I still have a few months before the summertime hits. Yeah. So I'm going to keep the sleeves on for now. No, but I really feel like that because there's a lot of young players who are now getting shots in Major League Soccer, but there is a gap. It's not just a learning curve. It's like, being able to grow into your body and figure out how exactly you're going to be able to get the best version of yourself on the field. I really think that there's something to it, but then seeing the steps that you have taken, it just seems like the game, you might not need to force things as much as you may have tried to do it in the past, right? When there might be physical limitations.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like I said, it comes with more experience and playing time. So like the more repetitions you get and the more of those actions that maybe you made a mistake in the past, but it's different now, so because you're getting more repetition. So it's just more experience, I would say.
So I've been around TFC for a long time, Jayden, and so have you now. I mean, when did you join the club? When you were 13, 14 years old?
Yeah, around there, 13, 14.
So I was always hearing this name. You got to look out for Jayden Nelson, Jayden Nelson this, Jayden Nelson that. Like you came with a reputation, a very positive one in terms of the talent and type of player that you were. Does that come with pressure for you, or did you find that came with pressure and expectation to kind of live up to that billing? Did you even know that people were kind of talking about you in that light? Like, and how have you kind of managed to use that and kind of work your way through with it?
Um, Growing up, like I always used to play with like 2 years up, a year up. So I always knew that like, yeah, people are talking or whatever, but I'm blessed to have good people around me to keep my head leveled. So I have to just thank my mom and my grandpa and the people that's really close to me. Um, but I never really pay attention to that. Even like things now, I just try to stay numb to everything. If things are going good or things are going bad, I just try to stay numb and just keep going to the path I want to go. So that's how I take criticism or anything positive. So
Is your family hard on you? Are they honest just to keep you grounded? Like, what do they tell you?
I'll say I'm my hardest critic,
Are
but
you?
yeah, I'll say I'm my hardest critic, but they're not hard, but it's more. Yes, I do. There's a lot of criticism, but it's not that hard.
With love? It's tough love,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Tough love.
That's it. Um, Seeing you come through the under 17 World Cup qualifiers, scoring some big goals. I mean, some really important moments there. Also playing in the under 17 World Cup, playing against Brazil. Um, that must have been quite the experience. And has that kind of whet the appetite for, maybe what's going on at the senior national team level and maybe what is to come? I mean, international football is completely different than what things are like in the club setup. So maybe you could walk us through like kind of the differences and what you took from that experience and maybe where you can take it.
I say international football and club football is different. I would say international is more every game. There's something on the line. So we go out there to win every single game, So it's different. Club football, yes, but there's more tactics and stuff like that towards the game. So I feel like international is more gritty and like you'll see those type of like I'll say like Copa America, it's way more grittier. You'll see like in CONCACAF and stuff like that. So um take away from like U17 World Cup, there's a lot of things that like you get to see and the players and all the guys your age, and it gives you something to look forward to. And again, like confidence that okay, like this guy could do it. He's from there, I'm from Canada, and I'm just as good. So why not just keep going and try my hardest to make it.
It seems like that's the mentality in Canadian football right now, where before it was like, well, we want to become or reach that level. And now there's a confidence that we can play with the best of the best. Is that kind of your feel being part of the program from the youth level all the way up now to the senior level?
Of course, you can see it firsthand. Like for years, we've been in the shadow of the U.S. to Mexico, and now, like, look at us, we're at the top of the table. So it's it's I would say it's just the heart that we have, and I think we're just tired of being the underdog. So it's just knowing that we're able to do it, and everyone coming up has to maintain that level of hungriness and confidence that we're Canadian and we're good as well.
You were part of that last Canada camp before COVID hit. I believe you scored a goal as well against Barbados, was it? You scored against? Be honest with us here. Did you see this coming for Canada? Like some of the players that you were playing as a very young player at that camp, some of those players have gone on to play some significant roles in John Herdman's side. Did you see this coming, what we've experienced over the last few months?
Of course, like being in like the Canadian environment or like the camps, we always have a plan. So this like, and knowing John, you know how John is, like how determined he is and how much like confidence he has in us. So yes, I definitely seen it coming. I wouldn't say I seen us like top of the table like this, like smacking teams like this, but I definitely seen us qualifying for World Cups and doing big things. So it's just great to see that all that hard work is actually paying off now.
Who are you talking to on a regular basis in that Canada camp? I'm sure that you're tight with a bunch of the players involved, and you yourself, like you're in the mix as well. But who do you turn to, whether it's for advice or just to pick their brain? Is there certain
Um,
players in the Canada team?
I would say, well, I have Oso right here. So like Oso is always he's a great guy. He's always here ready to talk to the young guys and give us a piece of his mind of what's going on, just not only in like the Canadian soccer environment or here to keep us in the loop, you know. He's a great mentor for all of us. I would say Michael Bradley, like he's been through how many games in CONCACAF and stuff like that, and he played at the highest level as well. So those two are my main go-to guys that I look for advice, I'd say.
I'm looking forward to seeing whenever it is you back, represent the Maple Leaf, man. A lot of excitement in terms of your future and Canada's future as well as, yeah, these are great times to be involved in Canadian soccer. Let's talk about your Toronto FC team this year. A lot of familiar faces, but a lot of players in new roles, Jayden. How difficult is that with a new coach, another change, right? A lot of new faces. There's an understanding that there's going to be an opportunity for young players like yourself as well. So, what are things like in and around the team right now? What's the vibe all about?
I say the vibe is we're just hungry. Um, like we've been through the manager change and all, like nothing like that's not new to us. So um we're just hungry. We all understand, like all the young guys understand, like this is the opportunity that we have to like actually showcase ourselves and show that we could start and we could play for Toronto. So um it's it's an opportunity that I wouldn't think we're taking for granted, but it's and I think Bob played a big role in that as well. Like he shows that he believes in us and like the little things that he does with us, like he's really hands-on, like I said. So everything's going well and we're understanding that this is an opportunity that we should take.
I mean, Bob has been a great coach for some period of time. He's coached wonderful players, both internationally at club level. What is his approach with you, Jayden? Is it just empowerment? Is it just instilling belief? Like, how is he working with you to put you in a better position?
I'd say it's more like off the pitch stuff. Like,
Mm.
yes, like a coach could tell you, oh, you need to work on this and that, but do they actually show you? Like Bob takes the time, okay, Jayden, let's do this. Let's watch some video or don't turn this way to make a play. So the little tweaks that he helps, like that's right away and after practice and stuff like that. He's always in the building, so he's always open to chat or whatever. So it's nice to have like someone like that that has your back in a way that wants to get you better, you know. So just coming every day to improve. I think that's what's great about Bob.
There's a lot of excitement about where this thing is going, not only with Bob, and he's obviously a big part of this. Obviously, Lorenzo Insigne is yet to come. Carlos Salcedo's here. Like, there's some world-class, top-name players coming into the mix at Toronto FC. But then you look and there's this massive contingent of Canadian players now getting opportunity. That's got to give you a lot of confidence as a young Canadian player that you can be part of this mix, that you can be part of the solution to get things going in the right direction again for Toronto FC.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's refreshing. Like you before you wouldn't have had so many Canadians on the pitch. So now that we're seeing so many and especially young guys as well, it's just great to see, you know, and be able to play with the top guys like Paz and the Michael Bradleys and the Carlos is like, you know, so it's always like it's a dream, you know.
When you look at it, like you look around now on the field with you and players that you're playing with in the TFC Academy, they're playing there right beside you. These are good friends of yours. Like your buddies are like Io and Ralph and Noble, like unless they're not anymore. Don't get me wrong. I'm assuming that these are your friends. These are your contemporaries. Do you encourage one another? Do you bust each other's chops? Like, how does that relationship work?
I think you would have to ask someone in the change room. They'll give you a perfect example. Like we're a tight group. I'd say all the young guys, we all push each other. If one guy is slacking, we do let you know that you're not doing well or whatever. So you don't want to be in that corner, you know, that okay, you're the guy that's not performing or whatever. It's because we're all pushing each other, you know. So we're a tight group and we push one another all the time.
I hear, you know, stories from inside and just the little birdies telling me this, you guys love to just, you know, kind of like maybe not chirp one another, but are competitive one another, are always talking, always in conversation, always lively and always having a good time. So like, who's the biggest like talker? Who's the biggest trash talker out of the group of young players that you roll with?
Who do you think?
Potentially you.
I'll say Ralph and Jaquil.
Yeah.
Ralph and Jaquil, yeah.
What makes it? Are they good at it, or they just are they like volume shooters?
I'll say Jaquil's a volume shooter, but Ralph is the one that has the arguments and ready, like, you know, he has the arguments and like all his responses beforehand before he even starts the argument. So yeah, you wouldn't want to argue with Ralph.
All right. Is there like one guy in that room who's your go-to, who's like kind of your best friend? Or
I'll say it's like our trio, this me, Jaquil, Ralph. I'll say that. But like I'll say all of us really, like Io, Noble, Jaquil, Ralph, and I, like those five.
Yeah, I guess you do a lot of growing up together, right? Like it's kind of you spend so much time on and off the field together that you kind of form that brotherhood, right? And it's kind of cool that you're going through this process, similar things all at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool. Just in terms of just before we go, I don't know if we've ever discussed this. Like, who do you want to shape your game after? Like, who do you look at and say, that's what I want to turn my game into? Is there a player or a type of player out there that you look up to and say, yeah, that's what I want to be?
Yeah. I like a couple players. I wouldn't say I want to shape my game after one player. But right now I'm looking into like the Raheem Sterlings, the Mars. I like Coutinho a lot. So those three players I try to model my game after. But my favorite player is Ronaldinho. So, you know, so those little players and stuff like that. So I think those three players are the main players that I try to like take little things from and try to implement them in my game.
That little that inverted winger role is just becoming so much more prominent, and I'm assuming that that's where kind of you see yourself and where you can, you know, have the biggest impact on the field as well.
Yeah, correct.
What about that position like just suits you, and what do you think that is the next step that you need to take in order to kind of up your game to even the next level?
Yeah. I would say like the inverted role, I think it fits me because growing up, I used to be a midfielder. So I like to pass the ball and like find little passes and stuff like that. So being inside, sometimes it gives me that opportunity to create plays, also run at guys, which I like to do. So I think just finding those moments when to and when not to would really elevate my game. It's just those little details that I have to tweak, but it's just like, again, previously I said, it's just experience and, you know, just playing and getting those repetitions, and I think it will come.
We're so excited about this season to kind of see players like you kind of continue to grow before our eyes. But I got to say, Jayden, like being at the home opener down at BMO Field, I know the result didn't go your way that day. The conditions stunk. It was windy. It was cold. But man, how refreshing was it, you know, 23 plus thousand people in that stadium, just the vibe, the energy, understanding that you were playing in your own backyard, not in front of a couple thousand, like a good, proper match day. How much does that mean to you and the players? And what did you feel that day?
It meant a lot. Obviously the result was disappointing, but that was my first start at BMO Field, so it was a dream come true. But it was crazy, honestly. The atmosphere, the fans, and it was a surreal feeling. Like, I never thought that, being on the pitch, I forgot about everything. Literally, just hearing the fans and the confetti or whatever, the smoke and all that stuff. It's just crazy to see. The guys are buzzing to be back. We haven't been home in how long, and we obviously have new guys as well, and it's their first time playing at BMO. So it was just a great feeling in the locker room before the game and stuff like that. But obviously the result didn't go our way, but we're on to the next game, right? So,
well, we couldn't be happier that you guys are at home. I can't wait to see you back at BMO Field, DC United, this upcoming weekend. The best of luck this season. It's going to be a ride. We're a World Cup year. You're killing it. Keep up the great work, buddy. And we'll catch up again down the road, okay?
Thank you for having me.
Your number 11 for Toronto FC, Jayden Nelson, joining us here on Touchline Talk. I want to thank Alejandra for helping us arrange this, our producer, Erica, and of course, you, the Top Reds, for tuning in. We'll do all this again next week. On behalf of everyone at Toronto FC, I'm Gareth Wheeler, wheels down for this week, and we'll see you this weekend at BMO Field.